everyone. Welcome to the virtual service of First Parish Church of Groton. I am Reverend Aaliyah Kemmler, and I am so glad you are here. We are a community seeking to deepen spiritually, to take care of one another, and to be a blessing to the world. Unitarian Universalism is a faith for all. So whoever you are, whatever country you come from, whoever you love, whatever your abilities, challenges, or gifts, wherever you are on life's journey, you are welcome in this virtual but very real community. Special thanks today to our Director of Music Ministries, Sean McCann, for his beautiful piano playing both before and after the service. I have a couple of announcements to share with you. We do have the live chat feature active right now, and we will keep it open for about 15 minutes after the service ends. Members of the Welcoming All group are there to welcome you and say hello. I hope you will write in, let us know you are here, and if you have joys and sorrows you would like to share with our community, please write those in. Just be mindful that the chat is a public space while we are live. Come on over to Zoom after the service for coffee hour and a chance to see one another's faces. The link is posted in the description box, and it will be in the chat as well toward the end of the service. I invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel and visit the church's Facebook page. You can sign up for our twice weekly church-wide messages by emailing welcoming@uugroton.org. And finally, subscribe to our blog. It is called Suddenly at Home, Fpcog. It is full of creative writing and poetry and poignant reflections about life during pandemic times, and you can find it at www.suddenlyathome.fpcog, and that link should also be in the description box. Now, I'm going to ring the meditation bell 3 times and invite you to take some deep breaths and just settle in. Try to breathe in peace and breathe out anxiety and fear, whatever you are worried about, whatever weight you are carrying right now. Imagine setting that down or handing it over to me through your screen. I will hold it for you so you can rest for a little while. In the Unitarian Universalist tradition, we begin our services by lighting the chalice, which is the symbol of our faith. The chalice symbol was created by the Czech artist Hans Deutsch during the Second World War. He created it for the Unitarian Service Committee, whose members were helping to get Jews and other persecuted people out of Europe. The chalice was created as a symbol of resistance to the powers of fear and destruction, as a symbol of resilience and hope. And we can claim that resilience and hope today. The words for chalice lighting are a poem by the poet Denise Levertov called For the New Year, 1981. She writes, I have a small grain of hope, one small crystal that gleams clear colors out of transparency. I need more. I break off a fragment to send you. Please take this grain of hope so that mine won't shrink. Please share your fragment so that yours will grow. Only so, by division, will hope increase. Like a clump of irises which will cease to flower unless you distribute the clustered roots. Unlikely source, clumsy and earth-covered of grace. So we light the chalice this morning for the grace of hope shared, which is how that grace and hope grow bigger in us. So now let's sing together Spirit of Life by Carolyn McDade. There's a link to the words in the description box, and I will hold them up. I printed them larger for you. We sing it first in Spanish, translated by Lilia Cuervo and Ervin Barrios, and then in English. Please sing with me so I'm not singing alone over the internet. Fuente de amor, ven hacia mí y al corazón, cántale tu compasión, sopla el volar, sube en la mar, hasta moldear la justicia de la vida. Ay, hágame, líbrame, fuente de amor, ven a mí, ven a mí. Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me. So now I have a story for the children. The adults can watch too, of course. So I hope you are doing really well. I miss seeing you so much, but I love it when you send me notes or messages to let me know how you are doing. So our story today is called Last Stop on Market Street, with words by Matt de La Pena and pictures by Christian Robinson. And this starts with a little boy who's leaving church. He's just been to church, just like what we're doing now. CJ pushed through the church doors, skipped down the steps. The outside air smelled like freedom, but it also smelled like rain, which freckled CJ's shirt and dripped down his nose. He ducked under his Nana's umbrella, saying, "How come we gotta wait for the bus in all this wet?" "Trees get thirsty too," his Nana told him. "Don't you see that big one drinking through a straw?" CJ looked for a long time, but never saw a straw. I think Nana means the trunk. Look how that looks like a big straw. From the bus stop, he watched water pool on flower petals, watched rain patter against the windshield of a nearby car. His friend Colby climbed in, gave CJ a wave, and drove off with his dad. Nana, how come we don't have a car? The bus creaked to a stop in front of them. It sighed and sagged, and the doors swung open. What do we need a car for? Said Nana. We've got a bus that breathes fire, and old Mr. Dennis, the bus driver, who always has a trick for you. What's that I see? Mr. Dennis asked. He pulled a coin from behind CJ's ear and placed it in CJ's palm. Nana laughed her deep laugh and pushed CJ along. They sat right up front. The man across the way was tuning a guitar. An old woman had butterflies in a jar. Nana gave everyone a great big smile and said, "Good afternoon." She made sure CJ did the same thing. The bus lurched forward and stopped, lurched forward and stopped. Nana hummed as she knit. How come we always gotta go here after church? CJ said. Miguel and Colby never have to go. I feel sorry for those boys, she told him. They'll never get a chance to meet Bobo or the Sunglass Man. And I hear Trixie got herself a brand new hat. CJ stared out the window, feeling sorry for himself. He watched cars zip by on either side and a group of boys hop the curbs on their bikes. A man climbed aboard with a spotted dog, wearing a special harness and holding a white cane. CJ gave up his seat. How come that man can't see? Nana told him some people watch the world with their ears. That's a fact, the man said, and their noses too, sniffing at the air. That's a mighty fine perfume you're wearing today, ma'am. Nana squeezed the man's hand and laughed her deep laugh. Two older boys got on next. CJ watched as they moved on by and stood in the back, and you can see that they're listening to music on their iPod. I sure wish I had one of those, he said. Nana set down her knitting. What for? You got the real live thing sitting right across from you. Why don't you ask that man if he'll play us a song? But CJ didn't have to. The guitar player was already plucking strings and beginning to sing. To feel the magic of the music, the blind man whispered, I like to close my eyes. Nana closed hers. So did CJ. So did the spotted dog. And in the darkness, the rhythm lifted CJ out of the bus, out of the busy city. He saw sunset colors swirling over crashing waves. He saw a family of hawks slicing through the sky. He saw the old woman's butterflies dancing free in the light of the moon. His chest grew full, and he was lost in the sound, and the sound gave him the feeling of magic. The song ended, and CJ opened his eyes. Everyone on the bus clapped, even the boys in the back. Nana glanced at the coin in CJ's palm. CJ dropped it in the man's hat. Last stop on Market Street, Mr. Dennis called. CJ looked around as he stepped off the bus. Crumbling sidewalks and broken down doors, graffiti-tagged windows and boarded-up stores. He reached for his Nana's hand. How come it's always so dirty over here? She smiled and pointed up to the sky. Sometimes when you're surrounded by dirt, CJ, you're a better witness for what's beautiful. CJ saw the perfect rainbow arching over their soup kitchen. He wondered how his Nana always found beautiful where he never even thought to look. And do you see the rainbow? He looked all around them again, at the bus rounding the corner out of sight, and the broken street lamps still lit up bright, and the stray cat shadows moving against the wall. When he spotted the familiar faces in the window, he said, "I'm glad we came." He thought his Nana might laugh, her deep laugh, but she didn't. She patted him on the head and told him, "Me too, CJ. Now come on." And you can see that they're feeding those people. The end. Now at our church, we are helping to make sure that some people have enough to eat too. We can't go to the Fitchburg meal program right now to help serve food like CJ and his Nana because we are staying home. But what you can do is you can make some cards or some artwork for the guests who eat there. And you can ask your grown-ups to look for sweatpants or blankets that they don't need, and remind your grown-ups when they go food shopping to get some extra pasta and sauce and beans and rice if they can. And all of that can get dropped off at the church, and it will get delivered to the people at the meal program. So now let us enter into a time of prayer and meditation, or simply a time to be still. I will ring the meditation bell and ask you to just breathe as you listen to these words by Jan Richardson called Blessing of Breathing. That the first breath will come without fear. That the second breath will come without pain. The third breath, that it will come without despair. And the fourth, without anxiety. That the fifth breath will come with no bitterness. That the sixth breath will come for joy. Breath 7, that it will come for love. May the 8th breath come for freedom, and the 9th for delight. When the 10th breath comes, may it be for us to breathe together, and the next breath, and the next, until our breathing is as one. As we breathe together, we remember that we are not alone. We are held in the love of this community which exists across time and space and transcends all walls. And we are held in that larger love beyond all names which holds all. So let us pray for all who are sick and for everyone who is struggling to breathe right now. Let us pray for all who are grieving, for all who are in need, for all who are risking their own safety and that of their loved ones in order to take care of others. All essential workers, first responders, healthcare workers, the exhausted doctors and nurses, and PAs and EMTs, therapists, hospital chaplains, all who are keeping our grocery stores and drugstores open. Let us hold in love all of the sorrows and the fears, and also all of the gratitude of this gathered people, especially Cindy, Greg, Will, and Leo on the death of Cindy's beloved mother, Jean. My friend Helena and her family on the death of Helena's beloved mother, Barbara. Risa and Gary on the death of Risa's beloved father. Suzanne, who has been in the hospital but is now recovering at home. The Kelly family as John recovers from his heart transplant this week. Melinda's mother, Patty, who is sick in Oklahoma. Ellen's daughter's friend. The staff at Badger Funeral Home who are tending to the families of those who have died and who are working so hard. We ask for strength and healing for all and for ourselves too. Laura Solomon writes, Spirit of life, help us to remember to hold ourselves and each other with tenderness. Let us take 3 gentle breaths. One for ourselves, one for our loved ones, and one for the world. Amen. So I have just a couple of additional announcements for you. As I told the kids, we are collecting for the Fitchburg meal program, which is serving those who are homeless and hungry in the city of Fitchburg. This used to be called the Fitchburg Breakfast Program, but they are rapidly expanding to provide lunch and dinner to meet the intense need. We are collecting money for them, and you can make a donation by going to the church website, www.uugroton.org, and just clicking on the donate button. We are also collecting pasta and bottled sauce, and this just in, they also need rice and canned light red beans, as well as new socks and underwear, mostly for men, and clean used blankets and sweatpants for both men and women. And all of these can be dropped off at the church, where you will find collection boxes outside the East Wing door. Finally, your support of our church community is so important right now as we take care of each other and give each other strength and hope to get through these days. If you are able to make a donation to support the work of First Parish, we would be so grateful. Just go over to our website and click on the donate button. So this week I witnessed an episode in the bread and cookie aisle of Market Basket. I was in the Stella D'Oro cookie section because they have become essential items in our house right now. And a man came down the aisle going in the wrong direction, not paying attention to the newly designated one-way direction arrows on the floor, or maybe not caring. He stopped at the Oreos, and with his cart, he was blocking the way of another customer. She asked him nicely, I thought, to please move his cart, and she pointed out that he was going the wrong way down the aisle. And he got explosively angry and used words one does not hope to hear in the Market Basket. I stayed close by in case things turned uglier, though what I thought I could do about it was entirely unclear. Maybe throw packages of Stella D'Oros at his head. He yelled a few more things about the kind of women in particular who point out that other people are going the wrong way, sprinkled with an impressive number of F-bombs. and then did the equivalent of burning rubber with his shopping cart. But there are no brakes to burn on shopping carts, of course. So it was not that impressive of an exit. It was actually kind of funny, though neither the woman or I were laughing at that moment. "Are you okay?" I asked her. "I was just trying to keep us both safe," she said. "I know," I said, "but I think everyone's nerves are a little shot." We are on pandemic week 8, and I think everyone's nerves are a little shot. It's starting to feel like a long time. I know it is so much easier for those of us who can stay home than for those who are going out to work, especially doing high-risk things. And I'm sending all of you who are doing that strength and love and praying for you daily. It is also so much harder for those who carry the extra burden and worry of financial hardship, and for those who are trying to work and homeschool children, both of which are full-time jobs, and that is a math problem that just doesn't add up in real life. And it is so much harder for those who are grieving the death of beloveds, as I know some of you are, when all the rituals for grief are not possible, and for all who are recovering from illness. And it is just hard. It's hard for all of us, lucky or not, especially because we don't know how much longer we have to do it, and we are beginning to suspect it might be a while. And we don't know how many more of us will get sick or lose jobs or loved ones, and we don't know what getting back to normal will look like, and we're beginning to suspect it might look different than what we imagine or hope for, at least for a little while. But here's what I know for sure. We can help each other be brave, and we can give each other hope when our own is running low. Mine was running low this week for no particular reason other than I miss my son, who is fine at his residential school, but no visits are allowed until this is over. And I miss our church staff and my office overlooking the cows on Gibbet Hill, and I miss seeing you walk through the church doors on Sunday mornings. And I really, really miss baseball and going out for coffee. So I ask you to tell me on Facebook where you are finding your hope right now. I asked you to tell me what is getting you through this moment. And the answers were both simple and breathtaking. My high school friend, Caroline, wrote about the recovery of a man named Ben, who almost died from COVID-19, but he didn't, and he went home this week. A man who is larger than life, with a ready smile and a heart as large as New York City, as she put it, who feeds people who are homeless and tutors kids after school in his Queens neighborhood. Susan wrote about 2 swans gliding on the Nashua River side by side. For several of you, grandchildren are the key right now. Susan and Stuart's youngest grandbaby, who is learning new words daily, and Lorraine's grandson, who turned 5 yesterday and is full of birthday joy, and the 2-year-old Snuggles. For Diane, it was a hike up Kidder Mountain with her adult children and grandchildren feeling close despite keeping distance, and watching the sun burst through the clouds at the top of the mountain. Our dogs are helping us through. So is hearing a teenage daughter laugh with her best friend over Facebook. Hope came this week in the form of blueberry bushes and tomato plants for the garden, in a hydrangea left on the porch by a neighbor, in a brave ride on a mountain bike, and helping a stranger who had fallen down in front of the house, and the 3 Hill sisters singing together side by side on the sofa. 1-year-old Ezra has learned how to give real kisses this week. Tom finds hope in remembering his grandfather, who emigrated from Slovakia in the late 1800s and who came to this country penniless, like so many immigrants, and worked in terrible conditions in the coal mines and steel mills and oil refineries, and made it through the flu epidemic of 1918 and scarlet fever and so many other challenges, and was able to thrive and leave a legacy of love and faith. Hope came as farmers markets with curbside pickup and children who think their parents are the best teachers they ever had. When 3-year-old Margot's mom was putting her to bed this week and told her that she was sorry that Margot had to be stuck at home for so long, Margot replied, "It's not that long, Mommy." And when her mom said she was happy to have more time with her, Margot said, "The pleasure is all mine." The birth of a neighbor's new baby girl, safe and well. The wedding of a beloved niece, even without any wedding guests, brought hope this week. Kathleen's hope is in every time a patient is discharged or is well enough for the breathing tube to be taken out, and the whole hospital celebrates with music played over the loudspeakers. She said it is happening more frequently now. Hope came with the spring weather, with the delivery of a bistro table and chairs in order to be able to eat outside, giving new meaning to the term dinners out. Hope came with the creativity and generosity of teachers, with nightly dates for dinner in jeopardy, with the return of a beloved best friend finally able to get home from Pakistan. Hope is 3-year-old Mary on the couch under a Hello Kitty blanket with a bag of Doritos as big as her entire body. Leo's hope came from celebrating his grandmother, who died this week, by baking a pie with her recipe. Susan said, "I work at home alone all day, but every once in a while my Bluetooth device chirps. You are still connected, and this makes me happy." We are still connected. And our hope is like those small crystals Denise Levertov describes. They increase when they are shared. I don't know why this is true. I am just grateful that it is. This week I found some words by one of my favorite ministers and writers, Nadia Bolz-Weber, which helped my hope, and so I offer them to you. She writes, "This is the life we get here on earth. We get to give away what we receive. We get to believe in each other. We get to forgive and be forgiven. We get to love imperfectly. And we never know what effect it will have for years to come. And all of it is completely worth it." So we will close our service with the benediction we learned from our UU friends at All Souls Church in New London, Connecticut last week. And then I invite you to stay and listen to the postlude music, and the chat will stay open for a while so you can continue to greet each other here. So put one hand over your heart and with the other reach out, and know that we are connected by strong and sturdy threads of tenderness and love. Go in peace, friends. You be a blessing to this world. Amen.